to welcome Representative Elise Stefanik to the program for the first time. She's not a rising star. She is a star of the Republican Party, and she's got courage and she's got smarts. First of all, Elise Stefanik, may I call you a woman? Is that still okay among Republicans? I think it is, right?
It is. I am honored and proud to be a woman.
Okay, great. Now, the January 6th committee, I want to jump into this with you because I think the longer this goes on, the more they destroy their own credibility. The lies that come out of this committee, the phony evidence that comes out of this committee, the witnesses who seem to have been tampered with and prepped, and the fact that there's some basic questions that any opposition, any lawyer on the other side would ask that would expose this entire thing for what it is. A Nancy Pelosi, Joseph Stalin rogue operation. They're not really investigating January 6th, are they? They're investigating the Republican Party, MAGA, and Donald Trump. Isn't that about right?
That's right. This is an attack on all Trump voters, and really it's a partisan attempt by Nancy Pelosi for her hand-picked members of Congress to go after President Trump and all Republicans because they know that they're going to lose at the ballot box this November. And what's really interesting, Mark, is as I talk to my constituents, which I do every single day, whether I'm in Washington or at home in my district, they're not asking or concerned about the January 6th hearings. What they're concerned about is inflation. They're concerned about the doubling of gas prices, the issues that are actually impacting them on a daily basis. But the January 6th sham committee is so egregious, it is way worse than the impeachment witch hunt parts 1 and 2. And the reason why it's so egregious is there's no Republican appointed members. So for the first time in the history of the Congress, you have no ability for the minority party, in this case the Republicans, to appoint those members. Why is that important? It's important because there needs to be cross-examination of witnesses. There needs to be a very close eye on all the evidence that is being presented. We know now that there's edited excerpts, there's been edited text messages of Jim Jordan, there's been statements taken out of context, witnesses have come forward saying their statements have been taken out of context, and really what this is the Trump derangement syndrome of today's Democrats who are losing on every single issue, whether it's border security, the economy, national security, so they're obsessed with continuing to go after President Trump. The American people are smart, they can see right through this for what it is a partisan witch hunt.
Are you aware of any other civilized democracy or republic that has ever set up a committee or commission like that to go after a former president? I can't think of any.
No, it's unheard of. It's un-American fundamentally. And again, you have only one office that's off limits to investigation, and that office is Nancy Pelosi's office. The Democratic head of the committee, Benny Thompson, said at the start of this witch hunt that everything is fair game except for the Speaker of the House's office. And what's important and really telling about that is I believe and we know that the Speaker's office was made aware of potential threats, potential violence that day. They failed to do their job to ensure the Capitol Police had the support they needed to secure the Capitol, and they have not turned over the communication with the Sergeant-at-Arms office. The American people deserve to have that information transparent, and as you pointed out, this is fundamentally un-American, and it's a waste of taxpayer dollars, and most importantly, it's not dealing with the crises that are actually impacting and hurting the American people resulting from Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi's failed policies.
If Nancy Pelosi has nothing to hide about her fantastic leadership on January 6th, why doesn't she make herself available for testimony on the record under penalty of perjury? Why doesn't she make her text messages available, her emails available? Why does she even have to be asked? And what about her staff and her family members? I mean, that's the sort of thing they've done with Trump. Shouldn't we know what she did on January 4th when she was offered 20,000 National Guardsmen? And isn't it interesting that this committee now is having another public hearing, its last one, we're told, and there hasn't been not just a single witness, a single video, a single statement that makes it clear that there have been 5 witnesses who have said that Donald Trump offered the National Guard 48 hours before he spoke. And doesn't that give to the lie to the entire insurrection nonsense being led by Donald Trump?
Yes, you're exactly right. Nancy Pelosi should turn over all documentation. Republicans have requested that. The committee that actually oversees the House security in terms of making sure that the Capitol Police have the resources they need is the House Administration Committee. This is not being conducted on a bipartisan basis. We've made those requests, and again, you had the Democrat chair of this committee, handpicked by Nancy Pelosi, saying that her office is off limits. Why? Because they know that she was offered the National Guard from the President of the United States, and that they failed to secure the Capitol because of their concern with political optics. There needs to be accountability here. The other issue that's important, Mark, is Republicans have been consistent. We condemn acts of violence. We condemned any acts of violence or destruction that occurred on January 6th. We also condemned all the acts of violence as cities were torched to the ground during the riots throughout 2020. Democrats failed to condemn and somehow tried to convince the American people that lighting churches on fire was a form of peaceful protest. That is not peaceful protest. That's violent rioting. It's Republicans that have been consistent. And if this committee was focused on securing the Capitol, they would actually make sure that they are providing the Capitol Police with the resources that need, that they are making the updates that were recommended by the independent Inspector General. They have failed. This Democrat Congress has failed to take those actions to provide the resources that are needed to the Capitol Police and actually take action on those recommendations.